So we talked about where we've been, where we are. We're going to cover really quick where we're going, starting with, many of us are, I had a whole joke around this, but I don't think we have time for it. Many of us are sitting at home watching shows, and I'm watching a lot of shows because, Annie wants to watch a show or Kate wants to watch a show. And I get in, I start watching the show, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't really like this show. When is this season going to end? How many seasons is it? I feel the same way about this COVID thing. I sent a bunch of emails today, some folks. It just seems like it's going to go on for a lot longer than we expected. And there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of questions that we're asking. Almost all of these questions, the short-term questions, will depend upon some kind of known thing with the vaccine. And the vaccine is fundamentally unknowable. The direction, the path of the virus is fundamentally unknowable. That doesn't mean we change the way we manage portfolios. It doesn't mean we change our financial plans. It just means we don't know how we come out of this, even if we know that we will come out of it. And this is the big question I see a lot of. People are asking, is it going to be U-shaped or L-shaped, or is it going to be a swoosh or a square root? We can't know. We do not know. And we don't need to know. If we're long-term investors, we don't need to know. So do any of you guys remember the movie War Games with Matthew Broderick? 1983 was roughly I love the movie. So does anyone, you can put this in chat if you know the answer to this question. Does anyone know what, it was Whopper, W-O-P-R was the name of the computer. What was the computer's other name? That's the first question. And then the second question is, what did the computer ask Matthew Broderick before they started playing? What was the phrase? And this phrase you kind of hear in kind of memes. If you know, close, real close, it wasn't that formal, or maybe it was more formal. So Koala says, would you like to play a game? Greg says the same thing. It's close, you guys are really close. It's actually, shall we play a game? Now, I'm glad people remember the movie, because there's actually a point to this. Does anyone remember Joshua's realization at the end of the movie? Joshua, Whopper, the computer. What did the computer realize at the end of the movie, while they're playing out this war game? Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Strange game. Only winning move is not to play. How about a nice game of chess? Yes. Wow, many people got that. That's fantastic. Only way to win is not to play. So in the media, you hear lots of questions. How's it going to recover? Is it going to be a W recovery? Is it going to be a V recovery? Is it going to be this Nike swoosh recovery? Investing based on short-term predictions is just as unwinnable as that computer's game. The only winning move is not to play the short-term game. This is one of the reasons that we are actually renaming the firm Mindful Money away from DO Wealth Management, because that is such a critical insight. The shape of the recovery is inconsequential to long-term investors. If we believe, and for me, when we believe that it will recover, the how, the why, the when it becomes a meaningless question. We don't have to know, which is great, because we can't know. It's an impossibility. We should give ourselves permission to not know and be okay with that. It's kind of like being okay with the anxiety around the unknown. We can't know, but we don't need to know if we have the right plan in place, which is why we focus on planning, why we focus on consistent education, and why we talk about this stuff as often as we do. So I only have a couple slides left. Neil's sharing of capital economics expressed on June 1st, the next set of arguments that we're going to hear. And he talked about how quickly are we going to transition? The concern is how quickly will we transition from an economy where we're spending to austerity? And we can queue this up, and it's actually in the bucket right now. This is what they're talking about the unemployment support that's going out there right now. Is they're asking the question, can we afford this? the correct answer is yes, we can afford it and we have to pay it. But this is the beginning. This is the opening salvo in this conversation. Every step along the path, there's going to be a massive argument about future government spending. Just know that that argument's going to be there, and know that we're going to end up somewhere between both extremes of the argument. So this is really important. This is Liz Ann Saunders at Schwab. Just pop this into the chat. A quick question: how many of you actually feel like we're all clear? That the recovery, it's a certainty. Like we know this is all, we're all good. We don't really have any downside risk from here. Does anyone feel that way? Yeah, exactly. No one feels that way. Not only no, but hell no. Yeah, more downside to come. Okay. So this is what she's referencing here is she's saying, I am concerned that there's a whole bunch of people that are being complacent relative to the risk in their portfolios. And I don't think she's talking about us. I don't think she's talking about people who are thinking about asset allocation, thinking about rebalancing, and you can actually look in some of the media right now. There's a lot of people opening up trading accounts. There's a lot of trading accounts being opened at TD Ameritrade and at Schwab and at all the day trading places that people can go. And they're trading in the Facebooks and the Apples and the Amazons and the Teslas of the world. And I've actually had a few clients call up and say, hey, should we buy Tesla here? No, we shouldn't. But there is this sense in those companies and with people who are day trading that they have actually become complacent. They're not managing risk. They're thinking about how do we not miss out on the next 20% increase in this particular stock. So those of us who are asset allocating and thinking about this, we're not being complacent. I don't think you guys are being complacent. We're not being complacent. We're thinking about this all the time. There is a subset of investors right now who are absolutely being complacent. Now, this is really important. Robert Shiller talks about the fading crisis coinciding with treatments and vaccines in the next 1 or 2 years. He adds a concern here that the economy is not going to return to normal in the same time frame. Now, I asked the question, what does he mean by normal? So I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to forecast a future set of questions. And that future set of questions is unemployment. He's telling us that very soon we're going to begin asking, the economy is going to look good in 9 months. Unemployment is not going to look as good. And unemployment is a lagging indicator. It is always a lagging indicator. He's forecasting or foreshadowing this conversation. And just wait for it. In 9 months, we'll see the economic data is getting better. We'll see earnings are getting better. We'll see unemployment or we'll see employment lagging. It will not recover as quickly. But it is that is actually not abnormal. That is a normal thing to happen. And it will be 2 years, 3 years, maybe 4 years before we see those unemployment numbers that we saw before in late 2019, early 2020. And I think that is our presentation for the day. And I'm just checking time. We made it in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Bye everyone that has to go. I appreciate your attendance. We will record this. You can let people know that we're going to put this up on the website as per usual. See here, John Madden wrote in, we simply don't know. Jamie Dimon added, and by the way, we're wasting time guessing. Yeah, I agree with that. You're welcome.
Yep. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.